Hacksaw. 2x4, it is Hacksaw, tough guy. No one is the Hacksaw Hour. 2x4, it is Hacksaw, tough guy. No one is the Hacksaw Hour.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we are back for another episode of the Hacksaw Hour. And Jim, you are looking very dapper today.
Well, thank you very much, Marcus, and a ho to you.
And
I just like to say hello to everyone out there watching. You know, I've been watching my podcast, and last week, of course, I had on my Legend House t-shirt, and it looked like somebody put a tent on me, you know? Holy smokes, I wish you had gave me a heads up how bad I looked with the thing, how much weight I have lost with this thing on. But then I do a little more research, and I find out the podcast is doing great. It's doing super. It's putting all them other podcasts to shame. So I figure, well, I better dress up a little bit, you know, just get a little more comfortable. And then out of nowhere, I get a sponsor, and a big-time sponsor. And I'm going to introduce him to you. He's going to be here for the whole show. Tommy, come on down and say hello to the folks. This is Tommy with Witch's Brew Tours.
Hey, guys.
Out of New Orleans. So I tell you, if you're down south, you're in Louisiana, and you're Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Metairie, anywhere in Louisiana, check it out. It's Witch's Brew Tours. And he has 8 different type tours, or 9, don't you?
We have 8 tours that go out a day. Most of them are ghost tours. We have cemetery tours, and we also have a gossip and grandeur tour. It's a stroll through the Garden District tour. That's a brand new tour. But our main focus is ghost and cemetery tours. We give tours from starting at 11 in the morning, and we go all the way to 8 at night. And we are the biggest ghost tour company in New Orleans, as far as I know. We have over 15,000 reviews. And again, I'll say I'm fortunate to run into Jim to be a very good friend and also a good working partner.
And I tell you, one more haunted city is it. I tell you, I feel like Rodney Dangerfield in this thing. All right, it's not Hacksaw Nugget. I don't know how well the podcast is doing.
Oh, careful, Jim. You're going to
I don't even know how to get out of this thing. It's like a straitjacket. It took me, an hour and a half to get in it. Huh, Tommy? Help me with my tie, please. I don't know the last time I had a tie on. But I'm pretty excited to have a sponsor like Tommy down the haunt. I can't wait to get to New Orleans, of course. As you know, Marcus, we did so much work in New Orleans out at the Superdome, Mid-South wrestling territory. You grew up watching Mid-South.
Absolutely. I was 10 years old, and my dad brought me to wrestling every Saturday night in Laranja, Louisiana. Most people from around New Orleans know where that's at. And I grew up on the Hacksaw. And so it's my honor to even be sitting next to Hacksaw.
Yeah, that was, I tell you, Mid-South was great. You're a big fan of Junkyard Dog, too.
Big fan of Junkyard Dog.
How about Ted DiBiase?
Ted DiBiase.
No, son of a... Well, Ted. But anyway, Marcus, I wanted to introduce Tommy. He's going to sit here with us, and I tell you, folks, and you're down in New Orleans, what better thing to do to go on a ghost tour? And on the vampire tour, there's a real good chance you might see Jake.
Well, Tommy, we couldn't be more thrilled to have you here as a sponsor. It's really great that you've jumped in with us and decided to show our fans what it is that you have to offer, especially if they're coming down to the New Orleans area. I know that you guys are kind of the penultimate when it comes to tours down there in Louisiana, especially the ghost tours. So couldn't be more thrilled to have you here and glad to have you along for the ride here for the podcast today as we do another Hacksaw Mailbag. But before we do move on to the Hacksaw Mailbag,
Tommy, you have like a history tour or something too, don't you?
Yeah, we have the cemetery tour, we have the ghost tour, and the brand new tour it's already started is the Gossip and Grandeur tour, which is a stroll through the Garden District. And the next one is going to be called the True Crime Tour. That's coming soon.
In other words, the Wrestler Tour.
But in New Orleans, you can just go to a bad neighborhood and get all the true crime you want.
Or the Wrestler's Dressing Room back in the 80s. But all right, we got to get to work. Tommy works me harder than Vince. I tell the young guy, he's a nice, pleasant young guy. He's like, Get to work, Duncan. Last time we were doing the show, I was like, "Can I go to the restroom?" He's like, "Sit down. Let's finish the show."
Yeah, not today, pal. Not on my time.
So,
So before we do get into it, though, I did want to ask you, Tommy, how long have you been in this business? And what's your experience like when it comes to doing touring through Louisiana?
Well, I'm 57 years old. I started as a tour guide when I was 22, so I've been doing it for over 3 decades. My business is 12 years old. It started in 2012, and we do put it this way: we do every year. It would fill up the Superdome. That's how many people we do
All right.
every year. Yeah,
other people like ghosts, I tell you.
and we are the in my opinion, the number one company, not just because that I own the company, it's because that we have great 5-star tour guides. They're master storytellers. They really put it out to you. They make the story come to life. And this is not a scare house. This is not something somebody's going to jump out on you. This is locations we go to and actually tell the history. I don't, but the tour guides do. Yeah, we have a lot of great tour guides, master storytellers. They are the ones that make all of this come to life, and they're actually the ones that make this podcast and the partnership with me and Jim, possible. Along with you, Marcus, we couldn't do this without the tour guides nor the manager Jordan. I'm just kind of a person that kind of watches things happen. I just got great people that work for us, and they do. Like I said, the tour guides are all 5 stars. So if you're coming to New Orleans, it goes
Great
tours.
time out.
It's a great time out. It's only 2 hours of your time, and it's we're gonna have Jim there at some point this year signing
And
autographs.
Marcus too, right? We're going to do a show from down there.
Yes.
You might keep Marcus in the haunted stuff, Pick up a few extra bucks while you're down there.
It'll be me and Jay display down there.
There you go.
Well, Jim, I noticed that you look really nice. Your background looks really nice too. What can you tell us about where you are right now, Jim?
Well, yeah, like I said, we upgraded the show. It was doing so good, Deborah's like, "Come on, you're doing it down in the living room or in the foyer with the stairs." Every once in a while, a cat would run up and down the stairs. The shirt was unbuttoned. I was like, "Yeah, spend a little time on the show." And it was Celia's idea to move it up here to the memorabilia room. And of course, we have all kinds of stuff right here. We got me beating up Rick Rude pretty good at Madison Square Garden. I said they put Rude in the Hall of Fame, but not after that match.
Well,
But I
man,
got
it
all
looked
kinds of stuff.
awesome.
Yeah, I got my Andre ring worn gear, the Slammy Awards that I've won. Actually, I don't get upstairs very often because I got to walk up the stairs. And I get up here. It's nice to see all stuff from the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, nice to get up here and look back at it, back at everything, kind of reminisce.
And folks, you can check out Jim's background here live on YouTube, but also Jim did a video where he did a walkthrough of that very room and
Yeah,
kind of
that's
went
right.
over all the memorabilia. So make sure that you check that out. That's available right now on our YouTube page at youtube.com/@everybody's-got-a-pod. All right, Tommy, glad you're along for the ride. Let's go ahead and jump into these notes. We got plenty of fan questions, and I can't wait to get into them. First up, we've got Andrew Dalton, who asked, "Did you ever play cards with Andre?"
Wait a minute, Marcus. I knew I was playing when I first came on, and I gave a little ho.
Oh,
But I don't think you hold back. So let's go, guys, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Ho! That was a pretty good ho, brother. All right.
Tommy, good hoer.
Tommy said he's good at hoeing, especially down in New Orleans.
Everybody needs a
He
hoe.
knows all the hoes down there.
Everybody needs a hoe every once in a while.
That's the best way to start off the morning.
All right, is
With
that
a
part
hoe.
of the tour?
That's a special tour.
It could be. There's an upcharge.
Brother, it's a family show. Jeez. Security.
All right.
Here comes
And-
Deborah. Look out.
She's the muscle around the house. And we've got Andrew Dalton up first. Did you ever play cards with Andre in the locker room, or were you never much of a card player?
No, I played a lot of cards, man. I sure did. And Andre, he liked to play cribbage. The generation before me, Gorilla, and all those guys would play cribbage. Arnie Skolin, but my group of guys, we played gin. And Andre, actually Deborah, well, like she got along with Andre. She played cards with Andre a lot. She knew Andre. Excuse me. Actually, Vince banned cards because at one point he banned us from playing cards.
Why is
But
that?
actually, actually, there was a pretty good reason he banned us.
I was going to ask why.
Yeah, you'd be back there playing cards and hear dun 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 dun. Is that my music? Shit, that's my music. Holy Christ! Where's my 2x4? Oh! And then at one time, Marcus, because if you're at TV, it goes all day long. You're there all day, so a great way to kill time was playing cards. And if you had to do interviews, you're dressed in your gear, so you had no place to carry your cards. So I used to stick my cards in my knee pad, and hold right there in the knee pad. Anyway, the day went on, I forgot all about them. They're like, Doug, you're the next match, cool. Go down to the ring, USA, having a match. Boom, I pick the guy up, I slam him, I hit the ropes, I drop the big knee. It's like a card trick. All these cards go flying out. I mean, all the fans are like, "What the?"
Now, did you go around and pick up the cards?
Oh,
Say,
shit! Are you kidding? I
Betty.
didn't own it. I came back. Cheap Chase Strongbows. Like, where'd them cards come from? I said, a fan threw them in the ring at me.
Now, Arn Anderson told a great story about Tully Blanchard being backstage with Andre while he was playing cards, and apparently Tully accidentally bumped the table, and it had a big bottle of wine on it, and the wine smashed on the ground, and I guess Andre got pretty hot about it. Did you happen to be there for that?
No, wasn't there for that, and but I could see, Andre getting hot at Tully. A lot of people, there's a line of people hot at Tully. Get in line, brother. Shit, you're behind me. And if you knocked over Andre's wine, it'd be like, holy shit, Well, don't spit into the wind. What's the gimmick, right?
Oh, yeah,
knock over Andre's wine. You're lucky to get eaten. You were afraid of Andre. He didn't like you. That's why Deborah wasn't afraid of him. And we talked before, as I met him as a convict in Hawaii. I knew him. I had respect for him, and he did so many favors for me. When Andre the Giant would beat me 1, 2, 3 in the middle, he put his feet on the ropes. That's a huge sign of respect to put his feet. He doesn't have to put his feet on the ropes to beat me. But he would put I had a good relationship with Andre. Bam Bam Bigelow, he chased Bammer out of the Madison Square Garden. He was just boom, boom. But it was scary sometimes. You'd be on your knees looking up at Andre, and he'd go to kick. He'd get up on one foot. He'd be swaying around like this, You're like, holy shit. If he falls down, he's going to break my back.
We hear all the time as fans that Andre it took him a while to warm up to people. I know that he and Jake didn't get along at first, and
Nobody gets along with Jake. Jesus. You got to tell me one time, hey, I was talking to so-and-so, he really liked Jake.
Well, is it just like person per person, or did he test you ever, or kind of feel you out, or did he like you right from the get-go?
I think he recognized me way back when I was a young convict kid in Hawaii, trying hard, making $50 a week, starving there in Hawaii, me and Haku. And I was, like I said, I was wrestling. Andre is actually the one that tore my mask off. I was wrestling. I told you the story as a convict. I put C's on my mask. The fans were like, why'd you put those ears on your mask? I'm like, they're not ears, they're C's for the convict. But when Andre would come through after he'd do Japan, he would come through, stop in Hawaii, work for High Chief Peter Maivia, and wrestle the local guys. And so I wrestled Andre as the convict. And he came through one time, and he was the one that tore my mask off when I was leaving the territory. And we're wrestling like in Pearl City, I think was the name of the town, just outside of Pearl Harbor. Boom, boom, boom. He pulls my mask off, and everybody's like, who's this guy? Nobody will reply. I'm Jim.
Some guy.
But I think Andre remembered that years later and allowed me to knock him out with my 2x4 on national TV and elevate my career from a mid-card guy to a main event guy. Andre, I got along great. It was a huge favor. I mean, knocking him out with my 2x4, putting his feet on the ropes. I mean, yeah, we had a great relationship.
It really speaks volumes about how he felt about you. That's incredible. Peter D is up next. Hi,
And on
Hacksaw.
the other hand, he would fart on Jake.
Yes.
He get Jake in the corner. He'd get that great big 250-pound ass. Jake looked like a human suppository. He'd be in between his cheeks. And all of a sudden you hear.
And I guess he used to stand on Jake's hair and pull his
Oh,
arm.
that was he did that to everybody though, but Jake was best because he'd knock you down. And guys with long hair, you go down, your hair would go down. He'd step on either side of your head, step on your hair. He'd grab your arms and pick you up. So it was a real unique way to have your hair pulled, to be like, ow, ah. So Jake used to come back to the dressing room and goes, I hate when he does that. I hate when he does it.
Peter D is up next. Hi, Hacksaw. What did you think of the Sergeant Slaughter heel turn to become an Iraqi sympathizer? Would you have done the role if you had been asked?
Ooh. That's a tough question. I know it was a hard debate with Sarge. You know, God, I don't know, man. I'm glad they didn't ask me. I mean, that was hard enough for me to go to Team Canada. I struggled with that. Golly. But they threw a buttload of cash at Sarge. But he had so much heat. He had armed guards around his house. You know, had security take his kids to school. People really, really hated him because, shit, we're at war. Families and loved ones are over there fighting. And Sergeant Slaughter, G.I. Joe, Iraq sympathizer. I mean, I don't know. That'd be hard to do. They would have, yeah. That's put me on the spot, kid. What was his name?
Peter D.
All right. Where you from?
I mean, he did end up with a WrestleMania main event as a result of it. Wound up getting a run with the belt himself. So it's like, I don't know. It's there. An argument could be made. That kind of heat it's good business.
That's great business. Yeah, it really is. But you know, business is business. America, you know, I quit watching the NFL when they started kneeling. I haven't watched another game. They started kneeling. It's been my honor to carry our flag around the world. I've done so much with the military. I think I've told you my most precious keepsake in here is a shoulder patch that a soldier came up to me. He was a state trooper in Maryland. And he came up, he said, Hacksaw, I've been carrying this patch for many years. He says, I was over in Afghanistan, and during the middle of a firefight, there was a lull in the firefight. And one guy went, ho! They go, ho! And they started chanting, U.S. I get goosebumps now telling you that. And they started chanting USA. I mean, yeah, it'd be hard to turn my back on America. And yeah, but Sarge did it because we were playing a part, you know. It was like what I told folks. I said, well, I'm Jim Duggan. I'll never beg. I'm not going to beg. No what? You know, you can beat me 1, 2, 3, but I won't beg. Later on, I was a bad guy. I'm like, no, don't hit me. Ask the people. Kick to the nuts. Yeah. But to do the America switch, that would have been hard. Especially then, it was still before it was sports entertainment. As you know, back in Louisiana, bad guys wouldn't walk to their car alone. You'd walk out together to your car, especially in southern Louisiana. They'd be in the ring with you. I was beating up Tony Atlas one time, and like I hit in the back of the head. I'm like, what the hell? Guy up in the ring with me.
People in Louisiana take wrestling very serious.
Yeah.
In the old days, anyway.
Yeah, that was a great territory, Mid-South.
Now, Jim, were you surprised at how easily Sarge was able to bounce back and become a babyface, whatever, like a year later with you after, you know, being an Iraqi sympathizer?
I was going to say I'd probably be really surprised he'd be able to turn back like that easy, unless he was turning back with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh, USA, USA! Now Lex Luger out there waving the flag. No, it wouldn't have worked.
So that was the key element.
I turned Sarge. Come back to America. God bless America. Appreciate the country that you live in.
You got one of the
Yeah.
Russians over. You got Sarge back over with it, man.
Like I said, I put everybody over one way or the other. Boston Garden. I need the lights in every building.
Next up, we've got
That means I
Ed.
got beat a lot, Tommy.
I didn't see it.
I know. Oh, there you go. Not Louisiana,
No,
huh,
we didn't
brother.
see that.
They kept me strong in lovely Anna.
Ed Holinsky is up next. In your 1980s WWF time, who was the most underrated wrestler who should have gotten a push?
Geez, I don't want to say nothing, but
Should have been world champion.
let me guess. Good-looking guy, long hair and a beard. No, who did you
Oh.
put in the 80s? Like, let me think. Terry Taylor.
Yeah.
I thought Terry, but he had heat with the Office. Terry was a GQ kind of guy. He's like DiBiase or like Flair. He's in a suit all the time. You know, he looks good. He studied the business. He kept a journal of finishes, a journal of angles. Was a real student of the business, but he patented them. People didn't like him, so they put the red rooster on him, and of course he hated that. I mean that for me, I'd dye my hair. I have a red mohawk. Go overboard with it. But Terry, he didn't like it, and he did it half-assed. Scratch around a little bit. Whereas we talked before, one-man gang, as you know, in Mid-South, big, opposing, mean one-man gang turned into a team, the African dream, and the gang embraced that and made Akeem work.
Dusty with the polka dots, same kind of a deal.
Dusty with the polka dots, and I had trouble with Russo, and they made me the janitor. I said, "Do what do you want? Give me my TV time. I'll get my stuff over."
And you did. They had
Yeah,
no choice.
it worked. Oh,
Yeah.
I had to clean Vince Russo's toilet with a toothbrush at one of the vignettes when I was a janitor of wrestling. So the time came to do the vignette, I took a Diet Coke and I poured it in the toilet. And instead of doing this, I'm like, "Oh, I'm cleaning the toilet."
You gotta own it. That's
And I got over it. Yeah, it worked.
why do you think Terry had so much heat with The Office? I've heard that he was a guy who was not afraid to express his opinions.
Yeah, Terry. Yeah, I mean, he puts his foot in his mouth more than anybody. He'll say, "Man, was a great man, everything," but that part was a shit. So I'm like, Terry, why do you even say that? I mean, I get along with Terry back in the day in Mid-South. We were, but then even now, I think he's still with WW.
Yeah.
And, but he stepped on his own toes all the time.
I mean,
And he liked the girls too. Well, who didn't like the girls, brother? But Terry, of course, he was in a position of power. And you can't do that nowadays and be over women and be in a position of power and date them.
I almost heard a hoe coming along.
Well, they put her out of the business. She tried to get in.
Yeah, there's something to be said for Terry and his knowledge. I mean, to your point, he's still working for the company today, even though he had a bad experience when he was a wrestler there. So he's doing something right.
Yeah, he did. And it's a hard place to stick around. That's why I tell folks I don't realize how competitive wrestling is. But there's 1,000 NFL football players, 400 NBA basketball players, probably 40 WWE wrestlers. And people think, "You guys are all good friends, aren't you?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah. We're all real good friends."
It's pretty incredible. It's incredible that you got to have relationships with guys like Jake and Ted, even to this day, because it was really competitive. Everybody describes it as being like a Shark Tank in that environment.
Yeah, it is. But you have survivors. It's like you guys from World War II, Germans and Americans. They're shaking hands. All right, you made it through, brother. Kind of like us nowadays at the Comic-Con. It's like, holy shit, it's good to see you.
Still alive. Wow.
Especially after all my health issues, everybody's like, "Hacksaw, you okay? Give me something to drink."
Yeah, you gotta use that to your advantage. Maybe you can run out and give me some lunch. Robert Smith is up next. Did Bill Watts rip you off on payoffs for live shows like the testimony of so many of your peers?
Yeah, sure. But everybody did. I mean, who didn't? It's not like you say, hey, I know this wrestling promoter, except, as we talked about before, Paul Bosch. Paul Bosch, Houston Wrestling, was the last of the great payoff guys. And when Bill Watts took over Houston Wrestling, he worked with Paul, but Paul was no longer in charge. Payoffs dropped dramatically, but and all the old timers that knew that was the last of the good payoff guys was Paul Bosch. Quite a gentleman, Paul was.
Jim, when is the last
And a
time?
World War II hero. Sorry.
When is the last time that you talked to Bill Watts? Do you recall?
Not too long ago. I mean, within the past year, he was came to a convention somewhere, came over and said hello. You know, a lot of guys like Warrior and Sting, they hated Bill Watts. I got along with Bill. Me, Steve Williams, Junkyard Dog. He liked tough guys. He liked, guys that athletic, guys. And he wasn't, so he treated, especially as Tommy will tell you, Junkyard Dog, a whole different level down in Mid-South. When Dog left and went up to WWF for WrestleMania 1, that elevated me to the top babyface in Mid-South. So, Watts knew Vince was doing it, so he started paying me more money. I bought my first house in Alexandria, Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
Well, actually, I bought the first house in Ball, Louisiana, which I joke, it was always hard to ask a girl to come visit. Would you like to come to Ball? But the other town was Pineville, and I bought another house down there. So I enjoyed Louisiana, and I was going to stay there. But then Jake went up for WrestleMania 2 and called me and said, hey, this was the place to be. And I went up for WrestleMania 3, and Teddy came up for WrestleMania 4.
I was recently talking to Jake on our podcast about the period of time when Muhammad Ali came in for Bill Watts, and Bill was pushing the Snowman as his new JYD. And the Snowman was a guy who was with the company for, I think it was about 4 months before he moved on to another one. But he came in, he got this really high profile spot in the Superdome with Muhammad Ali kind of in his corner, and then he's gone. So a guy like you, Jim, who's been committed to the company, you were running a great angle at the time with Skandar Akbar, and you had the eye patch, and you've been burned. But like for a guy like you, I mean, it's got to be frustrating to see this guy come in and get this spot with Muhammad Ali in front of this giant crowd, and then boom, he's gone. And where's the payoff for it?
Yeah. Well, payoffs were always, everybody, you're always getting screwed. You can go and say, hey, is there 10,000 people in the building or 8,000 people in the building?
Yeah.
There's no way you can tell. But the Dome, you always got paid more. But no, I wasn't worried about this guy coming in. I was very content with my spot. We were I don't know where we are on that card, but I bet we stole the show, man, because Skandar Akbar before threw the fire in my face, threw a fire. I think it was with Kamala.
Yes.
I think it was Kamala. And we're before the show, like, Doug, we're going to throw fire in your face. And it's like back when I was first breaking in, when they told me about the blade, I'm like, yeah, you got to be kidding. Throw fire in my face, my ass. Throw fire in my face. And Skandar, he's like, no, I'll take care of you. Don't worry. I'll throw just a little fire in your face, Oh, good. Okay, brother. So we get out there, and I find that it's on camera somewhere. And my beard was real bushy. It was like a forest fire, man. Everything burns up, man. Holy shit. So they put me there. We made up a hospital room and all that. And what we did is took iodine in cigarette ashes, made a mash of iodine and cigarette ashes and a paste and put on my face and shaved half my beard. Half that wasn't a little third that wasn't burned off. But Muhammad Ali, he bit on it. He's like, oh, what happened to you? He said, I'm not working with him, am I? I'm like, no. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, that's right. Fireball coming at
I was
Muhammad.
neat to meet him. That's the only time I ever met Muhammad Ali and shake his hand. So I was just happy to meet the guy. Yeah. Now, Sandman, yeah, like I said, I didn't push who you want. I got my spot. I tell kids, they're like, well, they're cutting people. What am I going to do if they're cutting people? I said, hey, there's always room for talent, brother. If you got
Yep.
the talent, they'll keep you around. If you don't, well, sweat your ass off. Welcome to the big leagues.
And the cream rises to the top. You know, Jake says the guy didn't have anything under the hood, and that seemed to prove itself out because he was gone in whatever 4
Well,
months.
there's more. Yeah, there's more to it than just taking bumps. You know, you got to tell a story, and also the talking on camera is a big part of it, and also being able to live on the road. Some guys have all the physical attributes, can talk on camera, but can't handle 2, 3, 4 weeks. Or then it's not like that anymore. But being on the road for a long time, it's a unique combination. But I show, well, that's why there's a high divorce rate, high drug and alcoholism rate, high death rate. It's a rough business. It's a tough business to make it at the top. Everybody knows a kid that wrestles down at the National Guard Army on Friday night. That's different than making a living out of wrestling. And that's what happened when one of those kids get in trouble. Pro wrestler arrested for something, you know, and the guy, he works at Lowe's on the week, you know. Yeah.
John Rossiter is up next. How many times a week did you work out in your heyday? How often were you hitting the gym?
I hit it all the time, brother. Yeah, everybody was pushing. Everybody liked to push heavy iron. There was the body guys and then the strong guys. You know, like I said, I had a 505 bench. I was 280. But I had taken steroids too. You know, I tell folks I wasn't on a cycle. I didn't know what I was doing. But, you know, somebody, hey, stick this in your ass, you'll get a little stronger. I'm like, oh, I'll try it. Oh, what do I do? But it did. Yeah, it did. I was bigger and stronger. But so, yeah, you train. That was a regular deal. You fly into the air hotel or into the town, the airport. You get your rent a car, go to the hotel, drop off your bag. And back in the day, it was Worlds, Golds, and Powerhouse were the 3 main gyms. And of course, they always loved to have the wrestlers come in, and you come in and you train. And pretty much all the guys would be there. And then you go back to the hotel, shower, lunch, whatever, go to the building. And then you do the show, you go back to the hotel, and you go up and you sit in your hotel room. Maybe I'll go down to the bar and see what's going on. Woo! Yeah, woo! Here, drink this, take that thing, bang my old lady. Come on, woo!
Next thing you know, it's 6 in the
Like,
morning.
yeah, well, okay, what the hell, you know? It's just herpes. It's not going to kill me.
Jim, I know that you maxed out, I think it was 505 bench. What were you squatting?
Oh, I don't remember my squat. I quit squatting pretty good, especially if you look at the Mid-South stuff. I was stomping, yeah. By that time, I had 3 knee surgeries. So two big ones. Bench was the main thing. Everybody was punched up. You know, of course, like I said, it was all relative, guys. Dino Bravo was pushing heavy. So, but I was happy with the push. But like I said, there's other guys much stronger. And then in the other corner would be all the guys that haven't eaten in 3 days.
Yeah, they look
They'd
good,
have
but
the
they had to be
10-pound
miserable.
weights going, you know. So you had the 2 different camps.
Were you doing anything for cardio?
Oh yeah, I did a lot of stuff. I like the stationary bike because it was easy on the legs. Yeah.
Man, ever since climbing into the ring, I'm coming to find that cardio in wrestling, it's not like conditioning yourself for football or boxing or any other sport. It's a whole other animal when you step into the ring when it comes to
Well, a lot of
getting
times you blow up when you first start, even before you get to the ring. I mean, you see the young kids, you're backstage, there's, 20,000 people out in the arena is jamming. You got the curtains, the TV camera, you got to go through that curtain, the kids back there. Try to relax it. I'm relaxed. That's why it's bad to have a set match, because I forgot something. Holy shit! I forgot. You know, if you're just out there rolling, oh, do something else. Boom. You know, when you have a set match, it's hard. I like to just go out there, guys, with other pros. You go out there with DiBiase or Jake. I don't have to talk to them before the match. Just go out there and dance.
When you were still doing the indies back in, I want to say that you stopped in something like 2016, maybe, somewhere around there. When you were still doing it, and you'd have to work with a young kid, were they trying to come up to you and map out a match? Because I know that that's a big thing nowadays.
Well, that's the joke. I get to the arena, this kid, 6'5", 295, 23 years old. He comes, Mr. Duggan, we're on TV tonight, and I'm working with you. Where's my 2x4? Yeah, I saw wrestling too, because when I was a young guy, I worked with Mr. Wrestling #2 in Louisiana. And 2 wore that white mask, and I was wild and crazy. I'm out there wrestling too. And boom, I hit him in the head. And there was a little red dot. And as the match got going, the dot got bigger and bigger. And pretty soon that whole white mask was blood. So I saw him before he passed away, and I went up to him. I said, 2, it's gone full circle. Now I got the young guys beating my ass up, But I tell the young kids out there, it's more than taking bumps. It's 60 years plus old. I had no physical attributes left, but I could still entertain a crowd. It's more than just flopping around out there. Have a ring presence. Tell a story. That's why guys like Ricky Morton and people are still in. Look at Luke is still in the ring. Luke the Bushwhacker.
Wow.
And Flair, well,
He gets out there sometimes. Whenever you'd potato a guy like a Mr. Wrestling 2, who's a ring veteran at that point, you're just a young guy. Like when you get backstage, is it like, I'm so sorry? Or how do you approach that? Especially back in those days, it was kind of the Wild West.
I apologize. I was probably pretty sure, but I was pretty wild and crazy back then too. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean it. Because by then I was pretty established too, and but it's not like with Johnny Rods where I was green as shit, and I had no way, and I really apologize. But I've never hurt anybody intentionally in the ring, never. Well, that board don't count.
Brendan McKenzie is up next. You say that your Royal Rumble victory is one of your best, but is there a match when you look back and say, yeah, that match was probably my favorite to be a part of? So aside from the Royal Rumble, Jim, what's the match?
Yeah, that's an easy one for me, Marcus. I'd like to tell this. I love telling this story, actually. I grew up in Glens Falls, New York, which is about 200 miles north of New York City, up by Vermont. And my pop had worked hard and would bring me and my sisters to New York City, to Madison Square Garden to see the circus, So now flash forward, I don't know how many ever years, I got my pop with me, who was my best man at my wedding. Me and my dad was chief of police. I called him Chief. I joke everywhere else I'm Hacksaw Duggan. In Glens Falls, I'm Chief Duggan's kid. But anyway, I got my pop with me. We drive into New York City, over George Washington, the whole bit, go down and pull up in front of Madison Square Garden, look up at the marquee, Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Andre the Giant. I mean, what a whammy. To wrestle Andre the Giant was a huge honor, but wrestle at Madison Square Garden, main event with Andre, it was a thrill of a lifetime. And I tell folks, no matter what business you're in, if you're a ballet dancer, if you're a singer, you sell out the Garden. You sell out the Garden. And I think we had like 22,000 folks there in the Garden. Andre beat the hell out of me. I got on the plane the next day. I was sitting next to a businessman. He goes, I had a rough day. I'm like, brother.
Next up, we've got Tim Belcher, who asks, favorite memory from Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City. What's the name of the arena? I can't think of it.
Kemper
Arena. Yes, yeah. I never worked Kansas City as a territory, but they bring me in every once in a while as an enforcer or some damn thing, So anyway, we're working Kansas City, and the boys don't really know me. Referee has no clue who I am, I guess, or at least he wasn't paying attention anyway. Boom, and they hit my music. I go down, I'm stomping, I'm blowing snot out of the nose. I'm stomping around the ring. Boom, I grab the timekeeper's chair, I throw it in the ring. The ref is looking this way. The chair comes out. Boom. Hits him. Just about knocks him out. He goes down boom, like a sniper got him. I don't know it. I'm still stomping around the ring. Yo, shut up. Yo, shut up. I roll in the ring. I look.
You okay, buddy?
What the referee's down? I'm like, get up. What the fuck? Get up, man. And forget who. I'm here, like, you hit him with a chair. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't hit nobody with a chair. So, yeah. I remember Kansas City for that reason. Yeah. So, but yeah. And that was always Stan. I got that from Stan. Everybody gets something from it. He used to throw, and Brody would throw all this shit in the ring, you know.
That's a good memory for you from Kansas City. Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure he remembers it too.
Yeah. Richie Vincent is up next. Do you think that a talent enhancer such as Steve Lombardi, who worked as tirelessly as you main eventers, should be placed in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Yes.
You do?
I sure do. I think Lombardi had a great career. He stuck around through so many different talent management changes. Talent relations, I guess they call it. I mean, Lombardi's a survivor. And, yeah. And it's not, he was never a champion. Well, no shit. It's not real, brother.
He's a winner because he got to be with the company for 20 plus years.
Stuck around a business that's hard to stay around 5 years. I mean, how many guys have 5-year careers?
Yeah.
Who had a 20-year career in the business? Yeah, you got to give Lombardi credit. Like him or hate him or say he did this or he did that. He did the, Brooklyn Brawler. He did all kinds of gimmicks. But he made himself useful and stuck around the business. So, yeah, I think he could be rewarded. I sure do.
Now, Jim, did you have a favorite job guy or enhancement talent to work with?
No. And we didn't know most of them, because they have different talent at different venues. And but I didn't do no bizarre finishes. There was nothing coming off the top rope. Get on my shoulders. I'm going to jump off the top rope and I'm going to throw you out of the ring and run over you with a truck. Like I get 3-point stance, running clothesline. Sell it like you got hit by a truck. That's the trick. I hit you with the clothesline. Just sell it like you got hit by a truck.
It's supposed to look like it hurts. Not really hurt.
Easy finish. I took care of it. And I like to chant USA. So I had short matches. That's what they were, enhancement talent. But I always took care. Some guys were rough on the enhancement talent. Steiners were notedly rough. Nasty boys were sometimes rough with them. And I heard some of the current guys are rough with the enhancement talent.
I wonder why. It's just like trying to see.
I don't know. Guy gives you his body.
Yeah.
You can hurt anybody, but I would not see why. Those guys are trying to help you. They're trying to make it. And I tell the enhancement talent, do the best job you could do. Get beat up the best you can get beat up by this guy. Let him, because that's your job, to get beat up by this guy and make this guy look good.
Yep.
Your job is to enhance. That's the term. You're enhancement talent. You're enhancing the talent.
I heard that,
like I said, when I was big, you watch the big Jim Duggan on WWF. Shit, Hogan beat me. Sorry, everybody was beating me.
And it's an important job, and it's something that I don't think there's enough of today is enhancement talents. A lot of these companies, they have everybody under contract, so it's like they're putting, a guy that they saw a lot in, and they're like, well, he's got to take this TV loss, as opposed to, bringing in a local talent and beating them.
Yeah, different business now, changed business, and I don't know too much about it now, but everything changes, and a lot of people are like, well, I don't watch it like I used to. I said, well, there was 200,000 people at WrestleMania. Somebody's watching this show. I don't.
Jim, were you one of the guys that was giving your money to the enhancement talents afterwards? Like, because apparently you guys for the TV tapings would make whatever, $50 or $100. And I've heard that a lot of guys would, just give that to the enhancement talent.
I'd like to hear the guys who gave their money to it. Who did that?
Jake claims that he would whenever he would get $50 or $100. All right, I'm gonna have to call Jake out on it. Bullshit, Jake.
Okay. No, I no, because I got paid $50 a lot of times, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was usually the usual payoff, but no, I didn't do that.
Freddie is up next, and he asks, "What's the craziest or weirdest fan experience you've
I
ever had?"
wish I was in a position to be able to do that. That's why I was wondering if you were going to say guys like, Hogan, maybe Macho, or one of those guys. But anyway, I just want to throw that out.
Yeah, no, hey, and to be clear, the idea was that apparently you guys, whenever you do a TV taping, you guys were making your money on the road. The TV tapings, apparently you would only
Right.
get
They
50
were
or
doing you a
$100.
favor, putting you on TV.
Right, so you guys
So
aren't
here's
making
$50
anything for
because
you.
we're allowing you to sell your T-shirts and all that stuff on the road because we're putting you on TV. So they would
Exactly.
only give you $50 for a TV payoff.
And like the job guys are making whatever 100 or 200 to do the job, so they're actually making more money than you guys are at that. But and whenever somebody would hand some of the, and I've heard, I don't know if it was DiBiase or somebody else told me that whenever they would be handed their $50 on their way out the door, they'd just go find the guy that did the job for him and be like, "There you go, buddy."
They do a little investigative reporting and find the guy that got the $50.
All right, I'm gonna find out.
I'm sure probably sometime, but it just I wish I was in that sort of situation, but it never crossed my mind. Nobody ever gave me 50 when I was doing the job. If I had a few extra bucks, yeah, I probably, but yeah, I didn't even think of it, tell you the truth.
And if they're making more money than you are anyways, then forget it, pal.
Well, I know, yeah.
Freddie is up next. What's the craziest or weirdest fan experience you've ever had?
Craziest or weirdest fan experience I've ever had. Well, I've had them in the ring with me before. I've had girls flash me before. I tell you, weirdest thing. Geez, I don't know. I'll tell you the story where the guy hit the ring on me.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. And a lot of times, because you're a bad guy, people would throw. I was telling you this story the other day. People throw stuff at you, and they would never hit you. They throw like a battery or something, and you'd get ready to tie up with your opponent. Be some lady sitting ringside,
Can you imagine throwing a battery? Crazy.
So you know what you do, Marcus, when that happens. Everybody in the place is like, "Oh my God, that lady got hit." You grab a headlock. Look over here. Holy shit! Hey, check that chick out over here. The one that's in third row.
Hey, by the way, that you just hold up there, that little wrestling buddy, kind of a throwback to the past, and we're going to talk about where you folks can get your hands on those here at the end of the show.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. We're upgrading the show. I got a 2x4 up here. I got the wrestling buddy. We got our sponsor. I'll be heading for Hollywood soon, I think.
Big changes incoming, and can't wait to talk to you guys about them.
Look at the studio.
We're only going to do one more, and then we can wrap this one up. Kevin Newmeyer asks, this is kind of a sad one. With the 25th anniversary of Owen Hart's death this year, do you have any stories about Owen?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I got along better with, Brett was my generation, so I got along real good with Brett. Brett would stay at my house. Actually, I was just up in British Columbia, talked to Brett. Still good friends, me and Brett. But I knew Owen pretty well. So anyway, we're at this hotel somewhere, Fancy Dan Hotel, and this back in the day, and I called the front desk. I said, "Hey, there's a gymnasium in this town." Guy goes, "You one of those wrestlers?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "You got a phone book in your room?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Why don't you look it up?" So now I'm like, "Hey, I spent a little money in this hotel. And I expect a little respect. Can you tell me if there's a gymnasium close by? You one of those wrestlers?" I said, "Yeah." But I'm tired of babysitting you guys. If you got a problem with that, you come on down here. So this is back in the day, Well, okay, buddy, you bet I'll be down there. So I slammed the phone down and I'm getting dressed. And Deborah's with me. She said, "Where are you going?" "Well, that son of a bitch, I'll show him." And I get dressed, the phone rings, and pick up the phone. Hello. He goes, sir. He goes, I'm very sorry. He says, that was another one of those wrestlers. I said, well, you'll find out who it was. The guy looks over at Owen and goes, what's your name? Owen goes, Jim Powers. So that night I grabbed Powers. I don't rib. I don't like to be ribbed. What are you talking about, Hacksaw? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Brett told that story at Owen's funeral.
That is too funny, and what a great way to wrap up.
Yeah, Owen was a funny guy, and of course that was a stuntman's job, not a wrestler's job. Repelling from the ceiling. I thought that was a little, but a lot of guys were doing that. Sting did it, I guess. Sean repelled to the ring, so that was pretty common. But I don't even know if they do that anymore.
Every once in a while, somebody will still come out and do it. But man, I'm with you. It's there's no real need for it. It's just an unnecessary risk. It's I think we can get this guy over without him coming down from the ceiling.
Yeah, and that's like fireworks. Some guys have these huge fireworks, laser lights. I mean, shit. Let me hear my pop. I can get over without the fireworks, brother. Shit. Are you cheering the fireworks? These are great fireworks, better than Disney. Oh, is there a wrestler?
I remember you coming out on Nitro, and like you wouldn't have fireworks or any of that crazy pyro. You just come out, and the fans would react, and it was great.
Well, that's because Russo didn't want to spend any money on me. That's a whole different reason. He's like, Doug, and shit. Cut back on the music.
Well, it worked out okay.
I had a whole nother song for that. It was "Take This Job and Shove It."
Well, you never needed the fireworks, but what we do need is to talk to everybody about how they can find you on Cameo, cameo.com/Hacksaw Jim Duggan, where you can get a personal message from Jim. But we're, as you mentioned, we're kind of working on some things behind the scenes. We're going to enhance your website and create more opportunities for fans to interact with you, right, Jim?
That's right. We're going to do a thing, I guess, where folks can call and talk to me for 10 minutes, or not I just talk, do video chat. It's kind of like an extended Cameo, a chance to visit with that. We're going to expand the web page. Of course, going to try all of the things. Tommy's got some ideas, working with you, Marcus, and with some great graphics you've done for us, my friend. So, folks, we hope we got some more content, more stuff you can watch and enjoy, and we'll see what happens down the road.
Man, I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more thankful to Tommy for joining us here today. Really appreciate you being part of the show and for sponsoring us. Yeah,
no problem.
And guys, let me go ahead and throw this graphic up again here for our listeners. It is Witches Brew Touring Company. You go to witchesbrewtours.com. You can get more information and book your trip. So make sure that you're prepared and make the most of your trip down there to New Orleans.
You're not kidding. Since we already signed on, I can go ahead and end up with these things. Sell, Tommy, sell. Get a little juice.
Don't get any color here on the show, Tommy.
But I'm working with DiBiase. He sells like Ted.
We're not going to beat it. We'll see you guys next time right here on the Hacksaw Hour.
Ho! Give me a ho, brother.
Oh.
Whoa! Thanks, folks.
Knowing it's the Hacksaw Hour. 2 by